A one, a two, a skiddly diddly do. Well, hey there. Well, hey, it's me, and it's Randy, back for another edition of the Uncool Show, the episode 6.
6.
And right before we start, we will talk about the Packers. We will do a Packers recap. We were planning on doing that tonight, but then we got some breaking news about midway through the day. And we will be pivoting to the Milwaukee Bucks for a little bit now that our Packers have lost. But big news in the NBA world: the Bucks have fired head coach Adrian Griffin after 43 games. Randy and I are gonna cheers to that because Randy and I are very pleased with this decision. Cheers, bud. 6 years to the day after Jason Kidd.
Yep,
Not even a joke.
that is actually pretty
Isn't that
wild.
wild?
And
Yeah.
it's episode 6. That's crazy.
But we will just start in with this. No ill will towards Adrian Griffin. I wish you the best.
That dude's getting paid still, so don't feel bad for him.
He'll be okay. But as a passionate Bucks fan, this is a 30 and 13 team that looks inept in almost all facets of the game to this point. Randy, what have your thoughts been on the first half of the year? We gave him half a season. Um, I know what your thoughts are, but wax
the
poetic
people.
for a little bit. Yeah, hit the people with it.
Well, let's start with Dylan. First off, offense has not really been the issue entirely. Well, I'll say it has a little bit, but
Yeah, there's definitely stuff to
we've
clean
been
up.
putting up points mainly because of our talent, because of people like Damian Lillard, Giannis, a little bit of Chris Middleton, and other people. But the main issue, go figure, has been the defense, which has never been an issue before in past Bucks teams, as we know when we had Drew Holiday, and a lot of other key pieces.
And Coach Bud.
And Coach Bud.
Bud is a great defensive coach.
Yep. But I think Dylan, when especially recently, when you give up over what is it, like 120, 130 points to the worst team in the NBA, like the Detroit Pistons or the San Antonio Spurs, quite literally, you can't slow down those teams, then you have an issue, regardless of record. And the only reason that we've been winning games, again, is because of late game heroics of Dame, Giannis, whatever,
Whoever's bringing it that night.
And I hate to go there, Dylan, but I think you agree, and my cousin and other people that we talked to about the Bucks, your brother, we can't quite literally stop anyone. So if we can't stop anyone, it's gonna not be good, and we're gonna waste this year entirely. And I get why they finally said enough is enough, even at 30 and 13 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it may seem as a shock to a lot of casual Bucks fans or people that haven't maybe been watching as closely as Dylan and I have, but it's been very obvious for a while now, and I'm glad that the front office finally has said enough is enough. So
John Horst, he doesn't mess around.
yep.
Um, when he feels we need to make a move, he does it.
Yep.
And that is a very good thing. We're very lucky that we have a GM that doesn't have time for mistakes. We're a contending team. And I will say this on Adrian's behalf: when he took this job, there were a lot of things going on. Giannis hadn't extended, Chris hadn't extended, Brooke hadn't re-signed.
Yep.
We had not traded for Damian Lillard. There was a lot up in the air. A lot of people today have been saying that privately the organization was ready to take a step back, maybe not win as much, maybe not be as good. But when we trade for a player like Damian Lillard, that did change things quite a bit.
You need to win now,
and we need to win now. I think for the people who are happy that Griffin is gone, this has been a very long process of watching kind of in my opinion, a team unravel. Just because Giannis is doing Giannis things does not mean that we're in a healthy place. Damian Lillard is one of the most talented players in NBA history. And he's been relegated off ball a lot. He's not getting looks. He's not getting actions ran for him, um, to the extent that he deserves and warrants with his talent. Damian has looked extremely unhappy here at times. His body language lately has been off,
Mhm.
uh, and a lot of the guys have looked off. When you don't believe in your leader, you're not going to show up to work. I mean, we had Bobby Portis call him out a couple weeks ago or a month ago, screamed at him in a post game locker room session and told him that he wasn't doing his job correctly.
Probably still gonna get traded, if I had to guess, but you never know.
You know,
We'll get to that.
now with this, things could change. We will get into that. We'll talk about some personnel stuff, but uh, what do you think? Well, I know what the final straw was, but what do you think really led to this? What have you read? What have you seen? And what is your intuition telling you? I mean, what do you think finally did it? Was it these Detroit games? Was it losing to Cleveland by 40 when they weren't playing their best players? Is it all of these things? Is it the defense? What do you think?
I think it was a collection, like you said, of things, but I think the biggest one, and what I've been hearing and seeing, and what I think me and you talked about, Dylan, was the fact that during the in-season tournament, when quite literally we are what 1-4 against a main rival now, like the Indiana Pacers, and have no chance of slowing down teams like that that will probably play in the playoffs. Things like that. I think even as you remember, Dylan, very early in the season, quite literally even the first couple of games, we won that home opener, by like 1 point because of late game heroics again from Dame. But then we got, destroyed by the Atlanta Hawks. And me, you, and your brother, I remember went to that game and we were like literally like just dumbfounded, like, how do we compete against arguably like one of the top teams in the East and then just get blown out of the water by the Hawks? I think very early we all saw that there was main issues at hand. I think there were some personnel issues that I think we still need to address, which we'll get into. But overall, I think it was just a collection of, team belief in their coach, like you said, certain players like Bobby and other athletes on that team that just weren't buying into what he was selling. Obviously, the defensive scheme, like we've talked about, which you can probably go into a little bit more, but it seems like they weren't setting up people like Brooke Lopez to be successful, who again is one of our best defenders. And Coach AG, as we've all talked about, has always tried to push him to be something he's not instead of playing to his strengths, as we know. And that's again a direct reflection on I think AG and not Brooke and players like that. And then lastly, I think like you said earlier, Dylan, like we got to win now, and we cannot afford to waste this year. I mean, we talked about the Packers obviously up to this point a lot, and yes, we will get into that on the recap, but it's the same kind of thing where you cannot waste these opportunities when you have talent like Dame, Giannis playing together, the other rest of the people on our team. Like you got to win, and there's high expectations, and we have not been living up to them. Even though we're 30-13, we're 6-5, I think, in January, and have lost a lot of games that we shouldn't have lost because of just, I think, just pure incompetence by the coach, but also just the players just quite literally not giving a crap.
Not wanting to
Yeah,
perform.
yeah,
Yeah, no, and yeah, Bobby has been the most vocal, maybe the only vocal one up until this point,
yep.
but you can tell it's a team-wide thing.
Hmm.
The young guys didn't care for AG. Marjan was actually posting about him on Instagram today and just saying that I mean, he wasn't being direct, but he was, God's been putting me through a test and putting me through dark days, and I'm just
We see
grateful
you,
for
Marjan.
whatever's next.
Shout out to God.
Yeah,
Shout out.
whatever happens with Marjan. I hope we keep him. We'll get
Uh,
into that, but uh, Giannis lost faith, and that's what we need to touch on mainly. Is this is Giannis's fault?
yep.
Well, you know what? I won't say that.
It's not all his fault, but it's
No,
definitely
yeah.
partially his fault. And
If
anyone that
anything,
denies that is just delusional because he's the one that pretty much helped handpick AG over
yeah.
other
It,
coaches.
it was revealed today that he vetoed Nick Nurse last offseason. Um, for reasons that I don't even really want to get into, whether these rumors are true or not. But I won't get into it. But when you give a player carte blanche to start making personnel choices, you run a real risk. And we allowed Giannis to make a choice that was very very short sighted and very foolish. And to Giannis's credit, he came forward and he probably went. went vocal about it behind the scenes, but we're not in this position. One, if Giannis doesn't make that choice, but even more importantly, if our front office doesn't give him that power.
Yep.
You know, you set a really bad standard when you let any player do that. Um, People have given LeBron crap for being the GM of every team he's on for a long time,
Yep.
rightfully so to a degree. Giannis is not LeBron in terms of tactical thinking. He's not
No,
LeBron
he does not have the in-game awareness. Yeah.
in terms of surrounding himself with people that are complementary. Uh,
Yeah. You can't compare him at all.
so Giannis playing GM. I hope this experiment is
Hope that
over.
stops,
It should stop.
please.
Um,
Stick
but
to what you're good at, Giannis, I'll just say, which is dunking on people, out
playing
hustling
D,
people, playing D.
playing with more heart than everybody.
Yeah, playing with more heart. And lastly, just please, focus on making free throws instead of trying to, uh, be an in-game coach. So,
Well, I promise you, he's focused on making them.
yeah.
He's more focused than
Yeah, he almost thinks too much now that I
yeah.
think about it. Yeah.
He's focused.
Yeah.
But mm, alongside Giannis coming forward and admitting that he made a mistake, there were reports today that Dame has been very patient to this point, but he is no longer being very patient. He has been trying to fit in,
Yeah.
trying to be a team player, trying to play his role in this system. Uh, but I think when you're somebody as talented as Damian Lillard and you know how talented you are,
Yep.
there's only so long you're going to sit in the corner and not handle the ball.
Yeah. Watch Giannis waste the shot
Yeah,
clock.
while Giannis dribbles for 15 seconds and then takes a pull-up
Makes me
two.
so angry.
Giannis needs to not be the ball handler. That's why you get a player like Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
So Giannis doesn't have to do those things that he really isn't that good at.
Yeah.
Now Giannis can play make. He makes great passes. He makes the open pass. But to call him a smart facilitator, I think goes a little too far. This is one of my favorite basketball players of all time.
Yep.
Uh, he needs to stop.
Yeah.
He needs to understand his limitations. He needs to be way more team oriented, in my opinion, than I think he's been. Before this year started, I'm gonna set 1,000 screens a game for Dame. Maybe 5 a game.
Yep.
Maybe 5.
Also
Maybe.
backed it up. What you were saying.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe 5.
Yeah.
Some games none. Some games you'll see Dame setting screens for Giannis with his arms like a tiny little two guard, but like Giannis needs to back up his talk.
Yep.
And if he wants to be if he wants to be a champion again,
Yeah.
what has worked to this point will not continue to work.
Yeah. His people have figured it out. And I'm going to give a nice shout out to Dylan for one of my Christmas gifts. You see this beautiful picture of this guy right here, Dame? Yeah, you need to let him dribble the ball, Giannis.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're wasting his talents because that's what he's meant for.
Yeah.
Pick and roll with him, run action plays where you set screens for him, where he can come around a corner like we've seen, where they've literally had him catch the ball in the inbound, or Dame will, and then he'll loop kind of around and use him as a pick, and then he'll come around for a flare screen. Like, that's what you need to do, Giannis. You need to work more off ball, not with ball, because that's when people can't take charges on you as easily and can't, slow down what you're good at, which is
Build the
cutting to the
wall.
basket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Build a wall, as they say. Yeah. So, yeah. It's just Giannis, we believe in you. We appreciate you. I know
Oh,
the city of Milwaukee does, but now's the time to keep leveling up, bud, because at this point, you're kind of becoming a one-trick pony to a lot of people. And like Dylan said, you're not going to win another championship playing that way. Probably you need to start growing and finding out other ways to be successful and make the team better. Kind of like what LeBron has done when he's gotten less of a, as you would say, athletic freak. So,
yeah. No,
yeah.
he's definitely adapted.
Yeah.
And that all being said, Giannis is doing what he's been doing, right?
Yeah.
This has been his role his whole career. He has never played with a point guard this talented.
Yep.
Um, he's never played with any player who needs the ball as much as Dame does. Uh, and that is a big adjustment, and it's a really big adjustment when your coach is inept. So That being said, it is looking like Doc Rivers will be the next coach of our Milwaukee Bucks. Um,
What do you think of that?
well, I
Honestly.
mean, compared to Adrian Griffin,
Yeah.
it I'm not the biggest Doc Rivers fan. Uh, he will automatically level this team up just because he's not a moron on the sidelines. He's already been on podcast. We'll get into this too. He's been consult. Did you read that he's been consulting for us behind the scenes?
I have not gotten into it yet today.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
not sure.
This is kind of the shady thing. About a month and change ago, we asked Doc Rivers to start babysitting Adrian Griffin, and he has been consulting our coaching staff for over a month now, and he's been allegedly telling AG what he thinks we need to do a little
And
differently
AG's been ignoring it.
and ignoring it. And I think I was just talking to Nathan before this, my brother, and you know, at a certain point, because also in these last week and a half, John Horst and Milton Newton, our assistant GM, um, have been going to practice and watching practices on the floor, which GMs and front office people don't do. They're just sitting in the corners watching personnel, watching interactions, watching coaching. Uh, this has been a move that has been in the works for a while. It's almost like a mob mentality, right? Like a mafia thing where you hire somebody to come help your boy out. And you're like, I could do a better job. Just get rid of him.
Yeah.
I'll take that job. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's what's happening, dude. And it's a little slimy
We'll
in my
take care of
opinion.
them.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little slimy in my opinion, but
Give us your mafia impersonation real quick, Dylan, like that accent. Like how would you pretend you're that? Give it for the people real quick here so we can clip that.
no. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
Um,
I tried.
you did. Uh, no.
Give the people what they want, Dylan.
no,
Come
that's
on.
exactly why I won't. If it happens, it happens naturally, not when I'm being prompted.
I know.
Uh, it's just there's a lot of toxicity in our culture,
Yeah.
in my opinion, with the Bucks right now. Um, but at the same time, you can't be kind when you're trying to win.
Hmm.
You're If you're too kind, we end up with Adrian Griffin for 2-3 years.
Teddy bear eyes literally looks like we were saying. Like that was the biggest
Oh,
thing.
there's
You know.
nothing going on there.
Yeah. Just.
He looks clueless at every interaction. Most of the time, Joe Prunty is off the bench talking to the guys and calling things out while he's just,
Staring off into space. Yeah.
you
Kind of
know,
like Desmond.
yeah,
God
kind of like
bless
my
Desmond.
cat.
But yeah.
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 But regardless, and now there's some confusion right now. Currently, CNN has reported, which I don't know why CNN is getting into NBA reporting, but CNN has reported that we've already officially hired him. And
Another
that was
reason why
reported.
CNN is garbage. No, I'm just
That was reported on TNT. Uh, but a lot of other outlets have said that that isn't true
yeah.
or isn't official. It's probably just them trying to save face
Yep.
and look good. Because at the end of the day, it's a very embarrassing situation for these people. Giannis cost this franchise millions of dollars by allowing this hire. Giannis and our GM.
Yeah.
We're still paying Budenholzer. We're gonna be paying Budenholzer next year,
Yeah.
and Adrian Griffin, and our new coach. If you think that doesn't have some sort of effect on the culture, on the cap, even on what people are willing to spend, what the owners are willing to spend,
Yeah.
that's on Giannis. Our nepotism has reached levels I previously thought unheard of. But that all being said, you have to hit rock bottom to rebound.
Yep.
And I know it's weird to say that a 30-13, second in the East team is rock bottom, but
This
I
goes
think,
to show how talented we are to still win, I guess,
yep,
with that.
yeah, for sure. Um, Lost my point.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. Say something.
I was just yeah, I'll build off that quick to maybe bring it back to you, but basically like what Dylan was trying to is that again, the stats and the record don't always tell the full story. People that watch the games like we do, it can always really bring to light real issues, I
Yeah.
think is what you were probably getting to. So, yeah, overall, I just think I was a little shocked, honestly, Dylan, that when you told me earlier that this
Oh yeah.
happened, and I was literally working, and like you came in and I was just like, and you're like, yeah, AG got fired. I'm like, wait, what? Like literally, like I was like, no way. But then I also felt the same way when one of my friends told me that Dame got traded to us right
Oh
before
yeah.
it dropped, and I was like, no way. And you even told me, you're like, no way, dude. Like
I
this is.
right away I'm like
I
that's a
remember you
I'm like
texted
that's
me.
a fake tweet. You're like,
Yeah,
no, it isn't. Go on
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah,
Oh wow, okay.
yeah.
It is unbelievable for sure.
Yep.
Did you think he would go the whole season?
Maybe I thought because I didn't have as much faith in John Horston as you and I both thought. I don't think, not trying to be mean, but I didn't have as much faith that they were as in tuned with like the way we were looking at the team. I thought they were gonna play the safe route and just
Yeah.
risk, getting another first round, second round exit, which I think quite literally would have pissed off everyone,
Oh yeah.
including us. And I'm glad that they didn't at least they're not afraid to change something up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so, but
I think like you said, it's very positive. It's very good that we are willing to make those tough choices. It is a tough choice, you know, to do that midway through your first year. Um, but clearly things were bad. They were bad on court. I think watching the body language, watching the guys. I was reading a report today that a couple weeks ago, I think maybe at that Cleveland game, like our 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 bench players were just like openly talking badly about AG on the bench during games. Just like, yeah, he can't do it. Like while he's walking the sidelines in front of them. I mean, he completely lost the locker room and he lost it a long time ago. And it's really good that we had the balls to do this. It's
mhm,
really, really good. I mean, you have to think Damian is under contract, but if we keep Adrian Griffin and he keeps sitting in the corner not doing anything, maybe he asks for a trade in
yep,
the offseason. Maybe Brooke asks out. Maybe Chris is like, I don't know. Maybe guys are starting, everything matters. And if you can bring in a coach, whether it be Doc Rivers or somebody else who can really build something with these guys instead of trying to have them build his way, that's what AG's main flaw was. Never willing to compromise,
yep,
and when you're talented and you have an ability to do something great, yes, you can get in your own head and my way is the only way. But that's why God gives us people around us
mhm,
to fill in the gaps that we don't have, to see the things that we don't see, and to do the things for each other that we might not do for ourselves, right? And that goes in life and it goes in sports, especially.
goes in corporate
It goes in
America.
everything, every aspect of life. Yes.
Yeah, yep,
Um,
yep. But like you said, it's very important that the leaders, aka the coaches, or any like you said in life, Dylan, like for all of us in personal, professional, whatever it may be, um, if you lose the people that are running your ship, as they say, and lose that belief, the morale, or whatever it is, it's nearly impossible to hit the goals that you want to achieve. And yeah, it's very fitting that that this happened because nothing against AG, but clearly he was in over his head. I
yeah,
think a lot of people, including ourselves, were like, "Why are you hiring a first-time coach, head coach for a team like this
a
when
team that's trying to contend. Yeah.
contend, not only contend, but like literally is like probably like title favorite going in at one point early on until
Until Boston did what they did. Yeah.
yeah." But hopefully now that this will even out and
Yeah. We'll see.
yeah, I mean, I think so I don't know, Dylan, if you want to now talk real quick about the couple different coaches that I saw earlier that I think you saw, the three in particular that the Bucks are looking at
Oh
right now.
yeah.
Even though it's probably Doc Rivers, I don't know if you know more about them than I do. If you want to maybe touch on them
Yeah.
quick.
The other names were like Nate McMillan,
Steve
um,
Van Gundy,
Jeff Van Gundy.
Jeff Van
Oh, the
Gundy,
other
yeah,
Van Gundy. Yeah.
gotcha,
And I love Jeff.
yeah,
He hasn't coached in like 20 years. I
yeah,
don't know about that. Nate won't be it. And the other name was Kenny Atkinson.
yeah,
He was a runner up in the search last summer.
hmm
He's the assistant for Golden State, but they're ever since Golden State lost their assistant coach in that tragic. Did you hear about that?
Mm-mm.
Assistant coach for the Warriors had a heart attack and died a few days ago. They went to a team dinner and he had a heart attack at dinner and he died the next day. He was only 48. Prayers out to his family,
That's
friends.
terrible.
It's a tragedy. Really young guy with a family. It's awful. He he passed away, and I think Kenny will probably stay around there and
So you're telling me the
live
players
there.
witnessed that happen? Like,
Apparently, he was at dinner and he went into like cardiac arrest.
so like Steph and all them probably
They
went.
were all
Oh,
there.
that's tough.
Yeah, I'll
They're
let
probably all
well, maybe not the whole
allegedly,
team, but
but yeah.
yeah, it thoughts and prayers out to that whole organization and that whole team and the fan base and his family. Again, 48. Rest in peace. Um, Extreme tragedy. There's no other words for it. But yeah, Nate McMillan, Jeff Van Gundy, Kenny Atkinson. I don't think any of them have any shot. I think they're just names to throw out there to, yeah, we're giving everybody a shot. This is Doc Rivers' job. He stole the job from Adrian Griffin. He came in. Our front office saw that he was smarter. He had better ideas. He he's literally been going on podcasts and be like, yo, no, Giannis needs to stop handling the ball. They need to let Dame handle the ball.
Finally, a
Literally.
man that has
No,
some
literally. He's
common
just like,
sense.
we need to have like Damian and
We've been
Giannis
saying
like
that
doing
for
pick and roll.
years, not only
I know.
but even during Bud's time, we've been saying that for years. And like, finally, honestly, Dylan, like my cousin's been kind of against like even Doc Rivers, he was telling me earlier, but me, yourself, my dad, even I'm not against it. I know he hasn't had maybe the best, what is it like, playoff history at times in the past, with like the Clippers and things with like early exits, but he could be that guy that we just need to have for common sense and just how to get the most out of Giannis and how to maximize our talent, and he does know basketball, I would say. So
In theory.
in
Yep,
theory,
we'll see.
but who would you want then, Dylan? Again, ignoring all like of the fact that it's probably gonna be Doc Rivers. Who in an ideal world right now would you
I want
want?
Kenny Atkinson. I wanted him over the summer
Why do you want him though at this point?
because he predicates ball movement and off ball
Yeah.
movement. That he's in the Warriors system that's all team based. Uh, he would use Dame effectively.
Mhm.
Dame would be Steph Curry in our offense.
That would be nice.
We would be running him off of double flare screens and back screens, and we'd be running creative actions for the generational player that we acquired instead of having him sit in the corner like he's Grayson Allen. It's unbelievable that Adrian Griffin made it as long as he did, in my opinion. I don't
43
I
games
don't
in.
think it takes a genius to see that he wasn't good and he was over his head from the first week. Um,
That we witnessed personally.
we don't even have to. I mean,
Yeah.
he he wasn't good at his job, and there's no shame in that.
Yeah. It's not even
He's
trying to
gonna
get
get
me.
paid anyway.
Yeah.
He will enjoy millions of dollars to sip margaritas on a beach in Tahiti now. He'll be all right. I don't feel any like ill will, but I don't feel any gratitude.
No.
Go. It's all good. But that being said, this could like put into question some personnel decisions and some trade rumors that have been in the works for a while just because new regime, new mentality, new style, new eyes. Doc could now that we know that Doc has been here for a month and change, Doc could have players. He's like, why aren't we playing that guy?
Yep.
Why are we playing Pat Connaughton over Andre Jackson and Marjan and AJ Green? Why are we wasting a roster spot on Thanasis?
Giannis needs
Because
to be happy,
yeah,
apparently.
nepotism. Yeah, great. These are things that could change. Bobby Portis and Pat have been. If there's any trade, they will be gone.
Yep.
That's been like kind of like the big thing lately. But maybe not now. Maybe we stand Pat. Maybe Doc loves Pat. Maybe Doc loves Bobby, and we're just not using them the right way in his mind. Who knows? But regardless of how these next 24 hours go, we cannot do worse than Adrian Griffin. We will be doing better. It might take some time to work in a new system midway through the year, but I guarantee the energy will be better. The boys are going to be happier. They're going to be smiling and joking more. You're not going to hear about Bobby screaming and cussing at people in the locker room. You're not going to hear any of that because people are going to start to shape up. And the ones
You
who
would hope. Yeah.
they will, dude.
Yeah.
These guys have been professional under Bud for 4 or 5 seasons. Um, this is an Adrian Griffin issue,
Oh, I agree.
and
I
it is
agree.
it's over. It's over. It's over.
Thank you, Lord. Thank
Literally,
you.
I thanked him a lot for that today. But you you don't hire a first time coach to your contending team. You just don't. And we've learned that, and God bless. I hope he does well. Um, the Bucks have been linked to DeJounte Murray
Yeah, I'm so glad we're talking about this now.
pretty extensively.
Please.
A lot of people think he is going to the Lakers. He is a clutch. He's under the clutch agency. Rich Paul represents LeBron, represents AD, represents probably half the Lakers and half of their private interests. But I do believe we could throw together a much better package for Atlanta in terms of players that would make sense around Trae Young. But there's also rumors that Trae Young is getting moved. So Atlanta might just be done. And if that is the case, we might as well try to buy DeJounte Murray. He is a super talented player. He is a willing defender when he's bought into the system. He is a good playmaker, good rebounder for his position, great defender, like I said. And his offense is really coming along, shooting about 38% from 3 this year, which is a career high. This is a guy who 2 years ago averaged 22 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. He almost averaged a triple-double. He is unbelievably talented. He would be a great 2 guard here. He wouldn't be Drew Holiday on D. I think a lot of people are like, oh, we're not getting Drew back. We're not getting a defender of his caliber back.
But we're getting some offensive production too with
A little bit of
so,
both. Yeah, a little bit of both. He would be a great pickup. We're always being linked to Alex Caruso, Dorian Finney-Smith, Matisse Thybulle from the Portland Trail Blazers, Royce O'Neal from the Nets as well. Just a point of attack defender. We're trying to find that, and we're trying to find that to make up for the Drew loss. Whether we can acquire Murray or not, I think it is good that we're trying.
I would take Caillou too. Alex Caruso.
Uh,
Caillou,
I know
come on.
people love Caillou. People do like Caruso.
Yeah.
I he's a very talented defender. I don't think he moves the needle as much as
We
people
don't have
think.
Grayson Allen anymore to butt heads with them. So.
Yeah, well, that's not
I
any
know.
reason to acquire or disacquire anybody, but
Yeah.
I just don't think the people want like 2 first-round picks for Caillou and a player. I don't think that 9 points and good defense is worth that.
No.
Same with Dorian Finney-Smith. They want 2 first-round picks for a dude who's 9 and 5 and good D. You're a role player. Role players don't get that type of
Do
treatment.
they think people would actually? Well, maybe desperate teams would, but
nobody's that desperate. Dorian Finney-Smith is a great player.
yeah,
He's not 2 first-round picks and a player type of guy.
no,
That's just not how that goes. We will make a move, maybe not as big of a move as previously thought now. Yeah. But again, these are answers that will be kind of revealed in the future. We have a press conference tomorrow at like 5 p.m. before our game. I would imagine before then we have an official head coach. I would imagine it would be Doc Rivers. I would imagine that his son, Austin Rivers, will probably be like tucked away in his carry-on luggage. And within a week, we have Austin Rivers playing for the Bucks as well. Nepotism.
Can you explain to the audience what nepotism means, Dylan, for anyone that...
Well, I like to assume that our audience is smart. And if they aren't, they can Google it.
Okay.
Because we have technology. Do I need to tell you what nepotism is?
Yeah, that's actually calling myself out. That's why I'm doing it, because I'm just making sure that I'm understanding what you exactly mean with that.
You know, just like hiring.
Thank you, Dylan.
Like hiring people, just because you know them. You know?
Okay.
Like in a couple of years when we're making moves, just you He's a nice guy. Let's hire him,
See,
even though he has no skill.
Dylan's not implying I'm not intelligent people.
No,
I'm making fun of myself here a little bit too.
I
But
just
yeah,
assumed you knew what that word meant.
I
My
I
bad.
kind of did, but I
That's
just
my bad.
wanted to be sure that you were okay. Because I don't hear that word used a lot, to be quite honest.
I love
And
that word.
yeah,
Love it.
and yeah. So thank you,
I love
thank
it.
you for explaining to me, Dylan, but also
Yeah,
the
my bad, man.
audience.
No, my bad. Just yeah.
Clip that.
Yeah, right. I don't know, man. Just like Thanasis,
Yeah,
Robin Lopez. Like we have Robin Lopez.
yeah, yeah,
That's nepotism.
yeah.
You know,
100%.
let's say if Drew was still here, well, let's get Aaron Holiday. Let's get Justin Holiday.
Yep.
Both of whom are solid players. I would take them, especially Aaron Holiday. I love
Yep.
Aaron Holiday. But like that,
Mhm.
you know, it'd be like, nah, it is what it is. You know, there's nothing much to say about that. It's just, it's not a good way to run any business. I mean, unless it's like a family-run business, and that makes sense. But in sports, Robin Lopez should be
Yeah.
retired, and
Yep.
that spot should be for somebody who can contribute.
Slideshow Bob.
Same with Thanasis. He should be a coach.
Yeah.
He should be not taking up valuable resources, but that's not a popular opinion, I'm sure. But what do you, other than Murray, are any other players you think would fit? I mean, I don't know if you saw Terry Rozier got traded today.
Yep.
To Miami. See, like if
Whatever.
if Terry Rozier, who puts up like 24 a night, is one pick and one washed up player, I'm not giving up two
2 first rounders for Dorian Finney or Caillou. Yeah.
Caillou, dude.
Yeah.
But that being said, any other players you like or that you would want to be our two guard? Because that's what we would trade for a Malik Beasley replacement, essentially. Maybe move Malik to the bench.
This is obviously a joke a little bit too, but Drew Holiday.
Oh, hey man, maybe bring him back in a year or two.
Yeah.
I would love it.
For a veteran
I would
minimum
love
or
it.
a cheap contract. Yeah,
man,
he would maybe do it.
I would cry like a baby if Drew came back.
Have him come off the bench maybe even at that point then, or
Yeah, maybe. Either be our sixth man or well, you would start him at the 2 next to Drew.
probably
He would
or next to Dame. Yeah,
I mean, next to Dame, because he could just do all the defense and
could have had that this year maybe, and
it wasn't
Chris.
That wasn't possible.
Okay.
You can't get Dame without trading Drew, because the Chris contract was too fresh, and you can't like trade somebody that quick. That being said, Chris is looking better. He's getting his legs, and he's also not forcing things as much the past couple of weeks. In fact, yesterday he like would take like 1-2 dribbles, pull up, move off of a screen, pull up. He wasn't doing all of that extra movement.
Dribbling,
Losing the ball, dribbling off of his knee, falling over.
And you could rip Chris Middleton, bro. Like seriously, I don't.
I'm not gonna go that far.
No, don't.
But I know, man. I know. He's got that high dribble, dude.
Anyways,
dribble.
But to answer your question outside of that, for other players, realistically, I'm really trying to think about that right now because I haven't thought about that outside of DeJounte really. But really,
he's the biggest name for sure.
I feel like there's not more like anyone else realistic. I mean, who else would you say? I can't think of anyone else that we could. I mean,
well, in terms of people who've been like in rumors, I mean, people have tried to say we could go after Marcus Smart because he's not playing for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Quentin Grimes in New York.
Go on him. No.
There's a guard gluttony in New York right now, so one of them is gonna get traded. But to me, it's Murray.
I think he makes the most sense.
That being said, if we trade Pat Connaughton and like for straight up for Caillou, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I would do that, of course.
I gotta stop calling him Caillou. But
he's gonna somehow catch this one of these days and be like, yo,
kids Caillou. But I would take Dorian Finney-Smith if the price came down. I would take Royce O'Neal. I would take Matisse Thybulle, great defender.
Yeah, I would take Matisse.
He's a great defender, dude. He really is.
For the low, like
for the
Pat
low.
Connaughton.
Yeah, for the low. I know that if there were any transaction with Atlanta, we would be getting another player back.
Clint Capella, I would take as maybe just
because we're not trading Brooke.
Yeah, but I'm saying to replace Robin Lopez, quite literally, maybe. Clint Capella could be like
he's a starting caliber.
You don't think that he'd be open to coming off the bench?
No,
Okay. All right.
he's
All right.
way too good.
Sorry to disrespect you, Clint Capella.
He's
I mean,
he's not coming
still
off the
can't
bench.
shoot, but
I
it's
mean,
okay.
how if he's okay, if him and Brooke are okay playing 20 minutes apart apiece, which neither of them would be okay with.
Yeah.
We barely make time for Bobby. If we trade Bobby, maybe, but
Yeah.
Clint can't space. He's a big rebounding dunker. But if we traded Brooke, maybe there could be a retool there, but our spacing would be
It's terrible.
ridiculous. It would be, especially with
Giannis
and Clint.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh, yeah, that'd be a nightmare.
it would be like a way lower tier player, like
I better
Patty
see
Mills.
if that happened. I better
Wes
see
Matthews, somebody like that.
I better see both those two if that did happen. Worst case, get their butts in the post and actually then like go to work and make them. But that wouldn't happen.
Clint is not a talented player.
I know. Yeah.
He rebounds and dunks. He can't do anything other than that. He can't hit a jump shot. He can't
Apparently
hit a hook
Giannis too.
That's not true.
I know.
Don't
but
ever
James Harden is
don't ever
always
compare
disrespecting
Giannis
him
to
for
Clint
that.
Capella.
No, I'm not. I'm just kind of making fun of James Harden when he said that.
Yeah,
dumb
Mr.
stuff.
15 points a game. Yeah,
Mr. hasn't won a championship yet.
he's
Either.
doing big work over there.
Yeah.
Spending more time in the strip clubs than he is the practice court.
Yeah.
What a leader. Can't say that. We have a couple of our boys who are doing that too. Let's be real, but I think a lot of that you never heard about like our boys going out and clubbing when Bud was here. I'm sure the boys went out and had
They just
drinks
didn't
and
tell him probably a little bit too.
well, no, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
celebrated and like, oh, I don't know, man. There was a very weird energy, a very weird vibe around this team the whole year.
They didn't take it seriously, I think, because of AG.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Well, I think they really wanted to. These guys, they wanted to.
Yeah.
But when your coach is an idiot, you gotta start to make moves, and we're doing it. We're gonna do it well, hopefully. And to me, it really is all uphill from here. It will be a little bit of a climb again, but dude, the only way to go up is to hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
We hit it. And I know it sounds selfish. It sounds spoiled. What 30-13 team would say that?
That's what basic and casuals say. People don't be a casual fan.
Don't be
respectfully.
Yep, don't be a casual.
Yeah.
Watch the games. Watch the body language. Watch these guys, how they talk to each other. What is coming out of the media? Pay attention to all of that in the next few weeks. A lot is going to be written about our team and about our franchise and about our front office. Not all of it will be pleasing. A lot of it is going to make us look really dumb and really unprofessional, if I had to guess.
Embrace the darkness, as they would say. People
Yeah.
kind of like Bane. Merely inhabits the dark. I was born in it.
Now AG is back in that little little tunnel
Yeah.
cave thing that Bane had to crawl out of. We took him out of Gotham. We put him in there. We broke his bones, kind of like Bruce Wayne, and now he's hallucinating Liam Neeson in that Dark Knight Rises cell where he belongs. And maybe he'll come back to Gotham and save us all, but no, he'll stay in that Liam Neeson psychosis.
Yeah.
We hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a lot of people are actually calling for us to bring Bud back too, which will never happen.
Please no.
It'll never happen just because you can't
do that after.
Can't do that,
Yeah.
but that'd be such a twist.
No, please no. Again,
What do you think people like Bud and Terry Stotts are thinking right now?
I'm sure
Terry, it was also revealed today that before we had Adrian babysat by Doc Rivers. That is why,
Terry.
yeah, that's why we brought Terry in. Terry was going to be the head coach. He just wasn't going to be the head coach in name.
Yeah.
And organizationally, bad. Yeah. Really bad look. But Terry's probably just laughing his butt off.
Oh, I'm sure he's laughing right now.
Whoa,
that only took half the season.
I knew it. I knew it. But again, in the next 24 hours, the Bucks will have an official new head coach. It 99.9% will be Doc Rivers. I need to do a bit of a deep dive on some of his old Clipper sets. I'm gonna have a hard time watching any of his Philly tape. I hate watching Philly. I hate watching Joel Embiid. I don't care that he dropped 70. I hate watching that
Oh, no
300-pound,
surprise.
7-foot guy flop all the time. Anyway,
Yeah.
totally different thing. But I haven't paid enough attention to Doc since Boston, really, and maybe the first couple of years of Lob City and the Clippers when they were really putting in work. But he is saying all the right things in terms of what Giannis needs to do, how we need to use Dame, uh, how he thinks our defense can adjust. Um, I think it'll be good. I just it'll be an embarrassing few weeks for the franchise, and they should be embarrassed.
Yeah,
But
that's okay.
sometimes you need to be embarrassed to learn and to grow and
To win a championship.
to win another championship.
Yep.
When we have Damian Lillard and Giannis and Chris Middleton and Brooke and whoever's left after this trade deadline,
DeJounte
DeJounte Murray,
please.
and DeJounte Murray, when we have him as our fifth starter, hopefully, and even if we don't, we have the talent. We do have the pieces. These guys are good enough to win. I believe that
Yeah.
even if we only trade for like one defender, like one solid defender, Tybal. Let's say we get Tybal. We don't hit on Murray, but we get Tybal. We get him on the cheap. That's a guy who can instantly plug and play and help our D. Even if we just got him, I think Doc can work with the rest
And the scheme then fixed
and the
it,
scheme
hopefully.
on
Yeah.
both ends.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah. I think though, like you said, yeah, I wouldn't be against that, and that would probably involve us then being able to hang on to Bobby, which again, Bobby is a Milwaukee icon at this point. Most people know that. I don't necessarily want to get rid of him, but if it means we get DeJounte Murray, I will say,
Yeah.
Bobby, we appreciate you, but we need to, yeah, win. So,
Depending on the player we get back, I'll
yeah,
trade Bobby.
yeah,
It'll hurt either way. I love Bobby Portis, dude. I love that guy. But if we have to do it, we have to do it.
yeah.
Um,
He would love Atlanta though.
he,
He
he,
would
he,
love
he, Bobby would lose himself.
Atlanta.
He'd probably lose
Yeah, he
himself,
would.
dude. That's probably why we need to keep him. We'll save his
For
life.
his own
We'll save his
soul.
life by keeping him
Yeah.
here. Yeah. But
Great show, by the way,
I
to Atlanta. I
yeah,
recommend.
shout out to Donald.
Yeah.
I am very, 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 very bullish on Marjan Beauchamp. There are a lot of rumors that we're moving Marjan. I think a lot of that was an AG thing.
Yep.
I think AG hated playing him. I think he hated playing most of the young guys, but he definitely hated playing Marjan more than the young guys.
I don't know why too.
When you see Chris Livingston getting in before Marjan, you know that
That's an issue.
there's a personnel thing, and that's why Marjan posted his little passive aggressive "thank God he got traded" thing. Essentially, you'll have to look at that after
Yeah.
this. It's very kind of telling. I think our young core, Andre Jackson, who is a absolute steal. We rocked that second round draft. Andre is a real player. He's a real talent. His basketball IQ fits in ways that we haven't had. He's great. Andre will be around. I have no doubt of that. But I'm a big believer in Marjan Beauchamp. I'm a big believer in his offensive growth when you give him more than 10 minutes a game every 5 weeks.
It's just a mental thing for him at this point. Confidence.
Yeah, confidence for sure. And I think AJ Green has potential. That dude can shoot the ball. He takes care of his body. He defends. He's much better than Pat Connaughton. All three of those guys, I would play before Pat.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, we're not doing that. And hopefully, after the trade deadline, we can clear up some room for these young guys because we need speed on both ends. And
We are kind of old overall outside.
yeah,
We need to, unlike the Packers, who are full of youth. But
yeah, really, it's a
yeah,
well,
still kind of salty about that. But
opposite ends
okay.
of the
Yeah.
contending window, really.
Yeah.
Not the Bucks are at the end of their window. They're right in the middle of it, but Packers are just starting to make a climb, and
And they will make a climb, people.
the Bucks were in the middle of not a plateau, but they were in the middle of it, and this is what Adrian was. And now we can like the Titanic sank and
Rose from
came
the dead.
somehow came up, dude.
Like Jesus.
like Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Randy. That's what we needed. We needed you to make a metaphor about the Milwaukee Bucks being Jesus.
No, I'm just saying it's never mind.
Amen, brother.
Amen. Cheers, dude. Cheers to
We
that.
died. We died.
Cheers to Jesus.
We died, and 3 days later we rose, and Adrian Griffin was left in the tomb. The angels did not roll away that stone; they left him in that tomb. Amen. Amen. Any final thoughts on the Bucks? You know, we'll talk more about the Bucks in the future. This was really just kind of like an impromptu thing because I did not think this would happen.
I did not think it would happen today, too, of all things,
Yeah.
even after how bad the game was against last night.
yeah.
Against the Detroit Pistons, I will add again and emphasize 2 games in a row giving up, what was it, Dylan? Like 131, and what was last night? Like 120?
120 something.
Yeah, with no Cade Cunningham, both games.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Their best player, yeah. And the worst team in the NBA that has what, three wins, 4
We've
wins?
got 5 now.
Oh, sorry,
Or
5.
I don't even know. I'd have to
Okay,
check.
sorry, but yeah.
No, your point is completely apt. I mean, it doesn't matter who we play. It doesn't matter. It can be.
Me and you could be out there. I
It can
think
be
at that
Detroit.
point.
It can be Cleveland with nobody playing. It can be Portland. It can be Charlotte. It'll be a 2-point game if Adrian Griffin is a coach, and we're gonna see some mobility now.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers is not going to coach a team that is, down 2 points to the Chicago Bulls every quarter,
Mm-hmm.
because he's not bad at his job.
Yeah.
Again, whether Adrian Griffin gets another coaching job remains to be seen. He will not get another NBA coaching job. He had his time. I guarantee he does not coach in this league again in a head coaching capacity. I hope he finds his way, whether it's coaching elsewhere or being an assistant
Mm-hmm.
or going to the G League or going to college, maybe being a college head coach, whatever. I wish him the best.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Tahiti, people.
Tahiti.
That's where he's
Yeah,
from.
no. Enjoy being on our payroll for 3 years and doing nothing, because that's a sweet deal. It's a really sweet deal.
Could also be a disaster too. You never know. Like, cause when
Yeah, it's like winning the lottery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He's chilling.
I'm just saying, when you have nothing to do, maybe, and you have that much money, it could lead to a lot of.
Oh yeah,
things
but
still.
he'll
hopefully,
find
yeah.
something,
Yeah.
whether it be coaching or not. He'll
Yeah.
find a way to fill his time. And
Yeah.
again, I wish him nothing but the best. But I will never think of that man again after tomorrow. He could pass me on the street. Oh wow, remember that guy?
No, I don't.
Keep moving. I wish him the best. But this was something. The writing was on the wall from day one.
I literally game
From
one.
day one. you don't hire a first time coach to
Yeah.
a contending team. We will be doing a lot more Bucks content, but we're also going to not focus entirely on sports from this point on. We will be posting Bucks content, but that won't be the overall focus of the show anymore moving forward. Maybe every other, sports elsewhere, sports elsewhere. It's what most people actually want, I think.
Yeah.
I think you and I are in the comfort zone in terms of sports, and we will continue it because it's
Yeah.
easy and fun and light. There will be some less easy and fun and light conversations happening. Nothing bad, just stuff that is not. Wow, that guy's a good 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah,
Some real stuff, people,
yeah,
and
stuff that matters.
yeah, stuff
And
that
not that
matters.
sports don't matter; they do matter. I love my sports fandom. I love.
It's a good escape
Yes.
for sure. It's a good escape.
But you have to label it as such.
Yeah.
Because that's at the end of the day, it's entertainment. isn't.
It's quite literally a
Yeah,
distraction too
a
for
distraction.
all of us
Yeah,
people. A distraction
a
from
healthy
other
one.
things, a healthy one, but a
Yeah,
distraction from a lot of other things that are going on in
yeah.
this world. And I'll leave it at that piece because Dylan knows what I'm referring to there a little bit. But yeah, um, yeah,
At the end of the day, we are really just at the beginning of this, and people are either very loving or they're very negative, and they're very very much revealing their true character, and that's totally fine. Um, we're gonna continue to try to have fun with it. We're gonna continue to be imperfect. We're gonna make mistakes.
uncool.
We're gonna be uncool. Uh, that's just what it is. And if people don't like it,
Okay,
you can turn it off. Um, Randy and I aren't coming to your homes. We're not strapping you into chairs and making you consume our content. You are willingly choosing to, much like you are willingly choosing to act like you're big enough to talk down on people. And again, you can turn the channel. Anything that offends you from this point on or from anything in the past, simply do something else with your time. Simply put your energy and your attention elsewhere. We will not force you to be a fan. We won't force you to like us or hate us. Don't care either way.
quite literally
But
don't care.
again, if anything we are saying is really getting to you, look yourself in the mirror and watch anything else. Anything else. It's not hard to click off a video. It is not hard to turn the channel. It is not hard to play the next song. Your own weakness is defining your level of vitriol and your level of anger towards us for talking about sports. Good luck and God bless. Anything else, Randy?
Nope. I think that was very well tied off, Dylan. Again, we appreciate all the real people that are, showing support again now. Because again, we know it's just the very beginning stages. But again, we want to really have fun with this. We're not worried about the numbers or anything, especially right now. But yeah, no, I enjoy doing this with Dylan. He enjoys doing this with me. I think there is a lot of people that enjoy our conversation. And yeah, look forward to many more things to come. Episode 6. Yeah, Dylan, I think that's it for me. So
Go Bucks, go, dude.
fear the deer.
Fear the deer, man. And
And happy dad, please. Happy dad. We're gonna save this real quick here. Happy dad, Kyle. Again, you don't know us yet, but
yeah,
maybe consider reaching out in the future and sponsoring us because I think at some point, Kyle, you'll realize that um, could be a good move for you, especially. So we'll see. But yeah,
yeah, nothing would fulfill Kyle more than
yeah.
hitting us up when we have got 40 subs. Nothing would make his day. Nothing.
It's a great story though, Dylan. A great
Kyle, this is kind of like the GameStop stock.
I'm gonna tag him right here. I
You
hope you
can
know.
get
Like,
in
we're gonna clip
early.
this.
You can get in early, but
Yeah, like
you know,
I mean, you got Steiny, and we love Steiny. Again, no shots at Steiny, but if you're gonna have like Steiny and Jimmy Gambles and whoever else is on that team, again, no disrespect to any of
yeah,
them.
no shots at that. But I'm about
I
to
think
pull
Kyle,
out.
you would have a lot of entertainment with us too. So we'll leave it at that. But yeah. Anyways,
And I will leave it at this: that I would much rather focus on people like George Janko, who are actually
agree.
genuine,
Shouts out to
who
George
aren't just
Janko.
peddling alcohol to minors.
Agree.
People
Agreed.
who actually have something to say.
That's another one that yeah, we'll maybe
People who disrespected George, I don't have any.
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think the Nelk boys did, but I agree what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it
Wasn't
was
he part of their little?
no, Logan Paul and
Uh,
those guys, yeah. He who must not be named.
well,
Logan?
yeah, Voldemort.
Logan, yeah. Yeah, no comment. I'm gonna stop
Yeah,
there.
we'll get a cease and desist from
Yeah.
him, like
Yeah, he's
billionaire
gonna sue
flavor.
us over talking about him at our 40 subscribers right now.
Just go back to the suicide fort. All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Much love.
Yep, we appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Uncool Show, episode 6.